Good morning, you guys. Today is Tuesday, June 15th. So we're right there in the middle of the month, and I have not made a garden tour update since the end of May. As you might be able to tell, it is kind of a nasty day out. We've had some really nasty weather. We had some really hot weather, and then it has been raining ever since, and I am ready for some sunshine. So I was gonna try to do this when it's not raining, but it's gonna be raining all day today. So yeah, let me flip this camera around and show you how everything is doing. Okay, we finally got the pad for the shed done. It's ready. They are coming out tomorrow to put that in, and we are really excited. I'm ready to have it in, and luckily for them, tomorrow is supposed to be a nice day. Over here at the strawberry patch, I have collected so far 5 pounds of strawberries off my plants. They're looking really good. Last year I got 10, and I think we are definitely going to beat that. I have these Oregon Rainier strawberries, and then over here, let's see, I have some pineapple strawberries. These are actually ripe and ready. I'll come out a little bit later with a bucket and collect for today. Somebody was asking how the pineapple strawberries taste. They're good. They're not as good as like a regular Rainier strawberry. And once you pick them, you have to eat them. They don't stay well in the fridge. So that's just an idea if you were thinking about getting some pineapple strawberries. Okay, so here is the blueberry bush that we put in, and we're just now starting to get some blueberries with colors. We have eaten a few. The kids have eaten a few. I think Barrett picked a few that weren't quite ripe yet, and he complained that they were sour. Over here are my cucumbers. They're doing really well. I had planted some more starts, but some birds ate them, so I'm just gonna leave it with these plants. They look really healthy, and they're starting to climb up the sides. I even have a baby cucumber. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the cucumbers are doing. All right, next to the cucumber trellis, I have my 2 raised beds. There's kind of a variety of things, and then the pea trellis. So I'll start over here really quick. My snapdragons, I had to cut them back because they got really heavy and broke, but they're doing really great. I have a few dwarf sunflowers that are growing a little slow, but they're doing good. I have this pepper plant. This was one that the chickens had got a hold of, and so it's finally grown back. It's looking a little better. I have this pepper plant. This is a jalapeno, and as you can see, there's actually, let me see if I can show you, a little pepper growing. I got some more snapdragons that are finally starting to bloom. This is not a cucumber, a zucchini plant that I planted. I wanted to plant one over here just to see how it would do, just kind of as an experiment, because I've never been able to get them to grow good. And this one is my healthiest looking one, even though it hasn't quite started to flower yet. Okay, before I show you guys the peas, I just kind of wanted to go over some observations that I made. The peas that I grew around the trellis, I overcrowded, which I did last year, and they look great. We're starting to get peas on those, but I've made the observation that the ones that I planted not crowded are almost as tall as the ones that I crowded, and they were planted like 2 or 3 weeks after. So I'm kind of interested to see how they do when they fruit and how much I can get off of each plant. So that's just kind of an observation that I made. But yeah, let me flip the camera around and I'll show you how they're doing. Okay, so here are the trellis peas. And as you can see, I got lots of flowers. And this pea, I mean, I could pick that one. And there's a few over here that I could pick. They're doing really good, and they're still growing. I thought they'd get a little taller on this, and they might still grow a bit. But these are the ones that I was talking about. I planted these 2 to 3 weeks after these ones. They're lower on the ground, and they're almost as tall. So that might be kind of a thing that has to do with overcrowding. So I'll just make a note of that in my garden notebook. All right, and over here in the other beds, I have these 2 peppers, and this one's looking a lot better than the other. It's about to flower. This one over here is just, that's one that one of the chickens got, and it just looks okay. I don't see any flowers yet, so it's still got some time. Over here is another dwarf sunflower. And this is my cantaloupe plant. It's actually 2 starts together. For the longest time I thought it was gonna die, but it's really starting to look good now. And I hope that we at least get 1 cantaloupe off that. So over here is my like unruly garden bed. This is where I planted a majority of my zucchini plants, and holy smokes, they have really gone off. The plants themselves aren't big, but they are putting off so many blooms right now. And I have lots of female flowers and lots of male flowers. I'm hoping this rain doesn't affect it because I've noticed that the rain has been collecting in the flower. So, and there's not a lot of bees out right now because of all this rain. So hopefully we get a few pollinated zucchinis. I have a few growing right there. And then I have this one over here in the corner. I shared this last video. This is the compost area. And as you can see, the potatoes are still doing really great. I just held them last week. And then I also have my volunteer tomato plants. These ones are still small, but this one over here in the corner is actually looking pretty decent. So I'm still not sure if it'll get enough sun, but I'm just gonna leave them and let them do their thing. All right, this is the green bean bed. And as you can see, I finally planted all those starts, and hopefully they've been doing good right now. Hopefully no chickens or birds get them, because this is like the 3rd time I've had to plant them, but they all look really healthy. I have 2 more pepper plants. This one is starting to flower. I don't know if you can see it in there. So hopefully they do okay. I have a few more cucumbers and green bean starts that I need to get in the ground. These are my herbs. This is my oregano that I trimmed back, and it's looking really beautiful. I have some dill right here that I planted. I have some really sad basil. And then my thyme, which is flowering and it looks super pretty. And then just a few snapdragons and a little lonesome lemon cucumber over there. So over here is just kind of where I have things pieced together. I have my potato grow bags, and then my lettuce. I think with all this rain, the birds haven't been out as much, and so they've kind of left my lettuce alone, and hopefully we can harvest like 1 salad's worth of lettuce. And then the potatoes, they're really doing great. I've held them up again, and I noticed this one is about to flower. So once it flowers, this will start to die back, and once this is completely brown and dead, then I will harvest the potatoes. Well, you guys can still see me. My camera is very wet. It's really starting to get rainy out here. But the last thing I want to show you guys is my tomato plants, and I'm really getting excited about how good they're growing. So yeah, let me flip this around and show you how they're doing. All right, here they are. I'm like absolutely in love right now with how good they're doing. All I've been doing, it's like I shared the last video, I don't know if there's any out here, but just in these like cracks, the crotch of this plants, I just been snipping off any like new sprouts, just because I still want them to focus on their roots and growing taller and putting off fruit. But other than that, I haven't done much. I have gone through and trimmed off like some of the bottom ones that were getting a little gross. When they're on the ground and they stay moist a lot, they kind of like turn kind of mildewy and nasty, and so when they get that way, I just cut them off at the base. But other than that, that is all I've been doing. Well, I lied. I have been coming through, and when they grow taller, I've just been kind of like this morning was kind of like sagged down like this, so I just kind of propped it up here on this cattle panel, and I'll do that every couple days. I come out and do that just to make sure that it's kind of what's the word I'm thinking of? Practicing getting used to going over the cattle panels. That's not the word I'm thinking of. I don't know. I'm thinking of a word, but yeah, it's not coming to my mind. Anyways, I've just been getting them propped up on here. So yeah, I'm really excited. I do have a couple of tomatoes already growing. Let's see here. Yes, down here, this is a beefsteak. I have this beautiful tomato, and then I have a little tiny one growing in. And then a lot of them have started flowering, and if they're not, they're about to. So yeah, I'm really excited with how they're doing. They look really great, and I feel like the spacing is going to be okay long as I keep them pruned up on the bottom. So I just wanted to mention really quickly, I don't think I talked about this before, is I have mulched this year. Last year I didn't mulch the garden, and I'd just been reading about the benefits throughout the last year of keeping straw around the plants, and I'm really glad that I did it. I mean, a bale of hay was like $8, so I only used half. So for $4, I had a whole bunch of mulch. And what I noticed, well, what I wanted to use it for originally was to help with water retention in the soil. We do go camping every so often during the summer, and it's kind of nice to be able to go for, 2 or 3 days and not have to have anybody to come in and water the garden. So we did go on a trip the beginning of this month, and I watered really, really well before we left. And then when I came back, we had some warm weather, and even then the soil under the mulch was still damp. So I think that's a really good benefit. It also helps on water consumption. You don't have to water as much, which is nice, because if you do live within city limits, you have to pay for that, and it's expensive. So those were my main reasons for doing that. The other thing that I've noticed is it helps with the weeds a lot. I do occasionally get weeds that pop up, which is fine, but they're a lot easier to pull out. So yeah, I think it was definitely worth the $4 and like maybe 30 minutes that it took me to spread out. And I'll definitely be adding that to next year's garden. Of course, the sun comes out right as I'm done with this video, but that's okay. I will take any sunshine that I can get. And yeah, that is the end of this little garden update, little tour type video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch it, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.